Happy holidays!
Happy holidays!
Welcome
Confetti.
to Raisin Radio. I'm Andy fucking Ford. That box is Tanner Poppet. Those are the guys from Thrown into Exile, Joey and Mario. And you just heard their track Beyond the Gray, which opens their brand new album, Illusions of Illusions of Control. How you doing, gentlemen?
I'm good, my man.
Good.
Just here again. Just here hiding out in sunny California. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you guys. As always. Senator Tanner Poppet, it's a pleasure. Andy fucking Ford, pleasure. Thank you guys for the opportunity and having us tonight. Absolutely. Means a lot. It's good to see some faces, some old friendly faces.
Absolutely. We've been wanting you guys to come on for a fucking while, and I know the album's been like delayed, so we're stoked that it's finally here, man.
It's actually like the illusion is actually, it's no longer, the illusion's out of our control because it's actually real now.
We won't tell you how long it took us to come up with a name for that. We won't tell you how long that took, but it was a hot minute. Yeah.
Actually,
where that came from?
No, dude, that was a heated discussion just to fucking come to terms with the name of that fucking record.
Yeah. I had like a list of like probably 50 titles. A lot of them I was pulling from like lyrics from some of the songs and lyrics I didn't use. And eventually we wind up choosing Illusion of Control, which is a line in one of the songs that I thought kind of played towards the whole idea of the record. So that's where that came from. We finally got it.
It's funny because at first we were butting heads about it because I remember I brought you like, hey, this lyric makes sense. You're like, no, this sounds like a fucking movie title.
I kept thinking like, was it Lose Your Illusion?
No, because you made the joke. I was like, hey man, this shit sounds like fucking like Harry Potter and the Illusion of Control.
Yeah, that's it. Sounds like a fucking movie title. Yeah. But whatever, we had to get it done. It was taking us a couple of years to even get the thing to come out. So, we finally got it. We finally nailed it.
That was something I noticed. Like I said, I had both Mario and Joey on when we were still at Dash Studios down there with Razor on Lost Anarchy almost 3 years ago to the day.
I'm actually posting that photo right now.
That's crazy.
So I'm just gonna get right into it. Why the delay? Well, why the delay? Obviously Joey has been in the for a couple of years now, and I'm just kind of curious, why the delay for the record until now?
There's multiple. It was a multi-chord like how can I put it for you? Just a lot of obstacles in between that. The idea at first once like we parted ways with Henry, as you guys know. Then we brought Joey to the mix, and we wanted to release a song. At first, the idea was like, fuck it, let's just write a 4-track EP, just an aggressive one, and just get out of the way, showcase Joey. And then it's like, let's just release a single. And then later, as at the beginning of 2018, we're like, you know what, let's go ahead and write a fucking record. So, and then we shifted gears, and that led into us writing the record. I think the record musically was done towards the end, I want to say maybe 3/4 of the way to 2018. And then we actually started doing vocals first thing at the beginning of 2019. And then the mixing, mastering process happened, I want to say maybe before the end of summer. Now the record was in our hand. The masters were in by maybe March or so. And then, because at first we were trying to rush it. And then once we had everything ready, like, let's get this done. And then it was more of a thing like, okay, we got these X amount of shows lined up. Cool, let's do this. And corresponded with that because there were certain things that like, you guys are in the running. You guys are going to get this offer or XYZ. And then it just didn't pan out to be. And then it was more like, okay, we'll do this and that, plan around it. And then it just kept falling through. And now
man, we were like, it was show after show after show from the moment I started the band. I mean, the first show I played once we started was Overkill, right? Overkill.
Yep. Overkill, Havoc, Crowbar.
That was a fucking killer show. And then right back to back, right into Ozfest 2017. And then it was like, okay, let's get something out with my vocals on it. So we did The Wrongs, but then it was go on shows so much that like we were just so focused on that. and everything that it takes to put a record together, to get everything going, and all that is kind of what set things back. But I think it kind of came out at the perfect time. Releasing a record during a pandemic was nothing I ever thought that we would do. But, and after what I went through recently with losing my sister, it's almost like I'm listening to my own record that I did. I wrote these lyrics, and I'm actually finding solace in the stuff that I wrote soon afterwards. So it's kind of a really weird, magical, fucked up thing,
It's kind of like 2020 for at least us four. It's weird.
It's a great shit show, man.
Well,
it's almost over for me. You know what I mean?
Called the album "Shit Show." It would have been a perfect title.
No,
but it's also been a great year though for all of us, with releasing records, and there's been a ton of killer records that have come out in 2020.
Yeah, Shard of the Rotting Earth by Madross, baby.
I appreciate you.
Shameless plug.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate it. But even your guys, it's just now's the perfect time for us kind of bands, because we already know, and I've been saying this all year, we already know that the next year is going to be dedicated to like all the big bands, because they're just going to be touring. Like there's going to be an oversaturation of fucking touring and just bands playing. So
if you get the vaccine, you'll be able to go, right? So I probably won't be able to go for like the next 3 years. I'm not getting that thing. That's another topic for another day.
Exactly.
I'm okay with the live streams. They've been fun. You get to watch bands now with these live streams. I love it because you get to like actually see who knows how to play and who doesn't, right? Like you watch some of these live streams and you got dudes that are like,
I want to get into that for a second. But first, let's check out the track Wake of Fire from your guys' brand new album. Right now on
Razor Radio.
3, 2, 1. All right, that was brand new Soil Work from their EP, track called Desperado. And in between those, we heard my other arrow, my co-host band Madross with Pulverized from his Trying to Rotting Earth. Now, you brought up these streaming events, Joey. I watched the one you guys did with Slipknot, the Maggot Fest or whatever. I thought it was fucking great. You guys had not played in a while, and you guys sounded really fucking good compared to some of the other bands on that bill.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. What's funny about that is we shot that at 8 a.m. Up in Camarillo, and we had not. I think we got together maybe 3 or 4 times before that and jammed. And our new drummer Tom had been learning those songs pretty much a couple of weeks in advance. He knew a couple of them, but we had to get all that going just about a week, in advance before. And, we were still getting the sand out of our eyes, and it was rough, but yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. We got a lot of good feedback. Mario set that one up, so I should probably let him talk about that one.
No, it was a cool opportunity, very gracious for the awesome people over at Knotfest who, gave us the invitation and had us on. It was a lot of fun, showcasing a lot of the smaller bands on the bill. I mean, aside from us playing, but, Orbit Culture was fucking killer. Death Blues was really cool. Our buddies in Cerberus from Mexico, and Introville, like another all-girl Spanish death metal band. So there was a lot of cool shit on the fest. So it was awesome to do it. It felt great to rush and hurry up and wait, but this wasn't like, hey, you just you pull up to the venue and just wait around for a bit. It was like, no, go get ready, and 10 minutes later you are on stage at fucking 8:30 in the morning.
It just felt weird, man. It felt super weird though, trying to give that energy that you would give, with a crowd in front of you. That was my first time trying to do anything like that. Some of the other bands that were on there, if you notice, they kind of did like a little thing where they'd be like in the studio, but we kind of went for the whole full on, just like do what we would do at a live performance. Because so much about us as a band, I think, is just kind of like the energy that we bring in the live show. So the fact that we made it look that good, considering there was nobody there but like our manager Mike and a couple of friends that were helping out with the process and the dudes shooting it, I think we nailed it. So that was cool.
Well, I tell you, I've been stuck at home so much. The last shows we saw were last February, Bungle and Ross the Boss. And I have been treating these live streams like, hey, why not? Let's just treat it like a show. I got my TV hooked up to the big stereo. I got it cranked up. I even shot video of you guys like I was fucking there.
I saw that. I saw you post that. I was like, hell yeah. People were taking screenshots on their cell phones and shit.
Yeah.
It's all we got right now, man. Andy, that was your last.
So excited.
Andy, so Mr. Bungle was your last show?
Yeah, last February.
Fucking A. My
Nice. Our last show actually just popped up in my memories. It would have been tomorrow last year. It was our last show. It was with Unearth, Darkest Hour, and us at Brick by Brick in San Diego. That was the last one that we played live. So hopefully we can get this going in the new year, man.
Man, that night was a shit show.
I love Darkest Hour though. They were part of the other stream.
Don't tell them what I did.
Wait, what did you do that night?
Was that the night I was rapping? I was like gangster rapping the whole night home or something. I was like,
no.
That was another night.
That was like,
I don't drink as much as I used to. That was a long time ago.
Bullshit. So Mario, I got a question for you. You know, you mentioned obviously, you know, Joey coming in a couple years ago. I'm just kind of curious what he brings differently, rather than just his vocal style. What else does he bring differently than Henry did for Thrown into Exile?
You know, I think both are their own. They are both their own animals. They are like, so I would never compare them in that sense. You know, it would be unfair because they both bring different dynamics to the table. Now with Joey in the mix, you know, where it makes more sense for Thrown in Exile is his personality and the fact that he's more aggressive, more his vocal approach towards things, and the energy that he brings live that complements when you have Dave, Ray, insert whatever fucking drummer we had at the time, and myself, like all, you know, running all over the stage, mainly, you know, since we're all mainly, you know, we're fucking zigzagging, we're headbanging, and then now I have Joey in the mix where me and him are mostly the ones running, zigzagging the whole fucking time. So we feed off of that energy off of each other. I mean, one cool moment like that was like when we did these 2 nights with Napalm Death in 2018, and that was like, granted, it's Napalm Death, and then when you think of it, I'm like, we're not exactly that heavy to be in there in the first place, but it fucking worked, right? And these kids are going, and these kids were going fucking batshit crazy, and it was so much fun because we're feeding off of their energy, he's feeding off of theirs, and it was just this great, you know, the synergy was there. Usually, I mean, Joey and I, we always have a blast when we're playing together live, whether when we actually do get to make eye contact, because I have a shit ton of hair, it's always in my face. we're always making.
I'm usually trying to get hair gel out of my eyes so that I can like fucking see people.
Dude, it's like, meanwhile, Joey's trying to worry about this. And on the other side of the stage, you have fucking Cousin Ed over here with all this.
and Joey, you know, obviously, you know, your vocal style has totally changed from when I last saw you, you know, live, but even before this. And I'm just kind of curious, you know, what approach did you take that was like so different? I mean, was just like their writing style, and obviously you were having just singing, and then obviously, but you do the lows, like, you know, and I've never obviously experienced until this particular project. So how do you approach a Thrown into Exile kind of track?
Well, dude, I'm like I'm all over the place, you know, like you look at my Spotify and I'm listening to like, you know, dark wave, I'm listening to pop, I got hip hop in there, but my heart is in metal. And I think when I came down from Santa Barbara, I wanted to start a band down here. I was always in the music scene up there. And I started in the thrash scene with Brain Dead, my last band. And that's where I kind of started to really understand metal. And I started to go through all the greats, Megadeth, you know, all the old school greats, as bands that I had never listened to in the past. I knew like Lamb of God, you know, those kind of modern metal bands. So I kind of approached it with that punk rock attitude because I always had that punk rock attitude. I loved all the old punk bands and shit. So when I started with these guys, I was in a really super dark place, and the music. And even when Mario asked me, there was like a whole manifesto of what this band like means, and the name alone, Thrown into Exile, was what I was feeling at the time. Getting kicked out of my last band, losing my ex-girlfriend, just pretty much my life just turned into what I thought was shit at the moment. So I embraced that, and I started to like write that shit. I was always into a bunch of heavier bands. Like Demu was one of my favorite bands for years, and I don't know. I just always knew that I could do that shit. So when we got in there, we started kind of going through vocal ideas and shit. I kind of based it off of what the previous sound was, but I wanted to take them away from that poppy sound that they had in the last record. And I don't mean to say poppy, like I love that record, but a lot of times where the choruses go to like a more sing-songy poppy place. I don't know if you noticed in this record. Yeah, but I mean, there's melodic elements in this, but I keep a melodic element, like especially like in the morning, right? Very melodic in the chorus, but there's a sinister, lonely, like kind of just sadness that's through it that I just wanted to maintain that through the whole record. And I think more than anything, I'm proud of what I did in this as far as the lyrics go, because, like I said, now going through like the pain of losing my sister, I'm finding solace in my own words. And I'm like looking back at all the time I put into writing that shit and figuring out like, how was I going to create a new sound for me representing this band. And I think we fucking nailed it, man. Like I'm listening to the record, and I usually hate listening to my own stuff, and I'm actually getting down on it. So, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I was kind of getting at. Is just I was almost like kind of shocked, just because I was so used to your style before, and then knowing that like you can actually do these other styles. I was like, wow, this actually fits really well with what Thrown in Exile is doing musically. So I just huge props to both of you guys, because I think it fucking works. It's just...
Let me, as someone who really both versions of Thrown into Exile, I had Mario on for the first album and everything and all that stuff. You make them a way heavier band. Would you agree, Mario? I just think you guys are heavier. You're more aggressive.
That was actually the going intent with this record to begin with. That was like where we were planning to go anyway. Funny you mentioned The Morning, Joey, because that was actually like the first song that was like subliminally written for this record. And I've been sitting on The Morning, funny enough, like the opening riff to that song, and maybe even the chorus, was maybe towards the end of 2016, right when we were like already coming out of the Safe Inside, and I just started writing a bunch of riffs out of nowhere again. And that was the first one, and I kept holding on to that one just because I love the atmosphere. It was like, obviously it was heavy melodic, but at the same time it was very somber and melancholic, and that's like the type of vibe that I wanted when I wanted to go the record. I still wanted. Here's the thing: I wanted to go heavier with this record, a more somber sounding sound, where it's more melodic, more moody, but still keep that heaviness and aggressiveness as most in removing the more, I guess you say, like the more poppy type choruses, more upbeat type of stuff. Look, I mean, here's the reality: is like anyone, when you write your first record, you're bound to make mistakes, and I wouldn't call them mistakes because you learn from them, so it's not a bad thing.
I like the first record.
I'll openly admit that there was some identity issues here and there with the record, because at some point the record, like, there was like, okay, cool, I hear melodic death metal influences. Oh, cool, I hear thrash metal influences. Oh, wait, you're going for the metalcore type of courses, and it's like, granted, we could do all that stuff, but it was more like, how about we figure this out and make it sound like it's just coming from the same band? And that was like the obstacle that we had on Safe Inside, where there were all that stuff that you hear is like, it's not that far off reminiscent on what's Illusion of Control, but Illusion of Control, it's definitely a much more heavier record. But because there's certain songs I can pinpoint, like if you look at Song for the Lost, Nothing Else Is Real. Even what's the name of that fucking song? No Words has been a homestay on the record for the long time. But if you look at those songs and you pay close attention to them, and then you hear what's on the record, you're like, oh shit, they're already hinting where it was going.
That's right. Yeah, you cannot go wrong trying to make a heavier record every time. That's what Pantera did in their entire career. I mean, they took shots of the record label. Oh, we need a single, or we need. I mean, you listen to the Great Southern Trendkill. There isn't a real single on that record.
That's my favorite Pantera record, and I think it's the most underrated. It's the most underrated record in their catalog, in my opinion, and it's such a dark record, especially because
that was the first record I ever heard from them, actually, and still my favorite.
Dude, that was my second one. I never forgot. I bought that. I was maybe in 7th grade. A quick side story. There was a store called Penny Lane in Pasadena. I went in, I bought the Great Southern Trendkill on CD, and I was like, yo, I got to get it, because that was coming off of Cowboys from Hell. That was like my calling card to get serious about playing guitar. So then from there, I also found We Come For Y'all from Anthrax. I know the John Bush era. Don't give me shit for it. And then,
I love it.
I found my first vinyl that I still own to this day, Slipknot Iowa on vinyl. And I bought all of those.
That was a great record too.
Dude, that's actually, I mean, between Iowa and I still hold on to that record. I was like, it's still one of the heaviest records I've ever written. I mean, ever heard? Sorry, written. What am I talking about?
Damn, he's claiming written it.
No. Sorry. One of the.
I have to agree with Mario.
No, dude.
Iowa is very abrasive, and what I like about Iowa and fucking the Great Southern Trendkill is they're coming off records that were commercially sold really, really well, and they're not what you expect out of a band. Most bands, when they sell that kind of units or whatever, they kind of model their way more towards the mainstream and all that. And those two records came out, and they were just like punches in the face.
Oh my god, no, I mean, dude, between Suicide Note part 1 and 2, obviously Floods, and then Warner, just that lyric, I was like, for every dollar pathetic media is what I forgot the exact lyric line, but holy shit, those are some of Phil's darkest lyrics.
Dude, that new Scour was pretty fucking dope too.
Yeah,
we played them a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you did? Nice. Yeah. That one and the new Black Dahlia were my two favorites this year, and that's just because.
Hold on. We're
talking about that later. Okay.
Let's talk about some of our favorite releases from the pandemic. We won't give them all away, but let's get into another track from your album, Illusions of Control. This is Edge of the Unknown on
Razor Radio.
3, 2, 1. All right, that was our homies up in the Bay Area, Trial by Combat with I Am Heathen. Before that, we heard these guys with Edge on Unknown. Let's talk about what you guys been listening to. What we've all been isolated a little bit, man. Mario, you got something? Joey? What do you like from this shit show that we call the year 2020?
The new Catatonia record, City Burials, is fucking amazing. Very melodic. The new Ulver record came out. Again, another moody. It's crazy because Ulver, if you look at Ulver's history, all the sound changes, and it yet works so well. And then I think it's an awesome follow-up from the assassination of Julius Caesar, because it's very Depeche Mode-y, dark wave moody record. Obviously, I mean, Trivium, What the Dead Men Say, that record is fucking killer.
It's probably the best thing they've ever done.
Dude, it's such a good record. Ulcerate released a really good record too. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what other records that Isan with both of his EPs, and that cover he did of Aha with fucking, oh my god, something Sky shit. It's an Aha cover. I'm brain farting. Go to Joey. I'll come back.
I was just gonna say that new Madras, Charring the Rotting Earth, man, fucking insane. I love that they added the keys in there, which was insane. You guys, I mean, I've been listening to you guys since fucking the beginning. I can't remember where I first saw you. I think you guys were just putting out the second record when I first heard of you guys. But,
you guys played together at the joint.
I got the opportunity to play with you, and you were playing a lot of the shit off the first record. And I don't know. I just watched. I still have a copy of what was the yellow one?
The Aquatic record.
Yeah. Aquatic, something the Aquatic Sector, right? Yes. Yeah. I still have that in my car, CD, and I don't buy CDs or use CDs anymore. But yeah, dude, I checked out that new one when you put it out, and it was insane. And really proud of you. Really proud of you guys on that. That new Thrown into Exile. I don't know if you've heard it. It's called Illusion of Control.
Never heard of it.
These guys just took it to a new level. They got this really hot new singer. Fucking incredible.
That's going a little far.
Wow. Never heard of them. Oh, there you go.
So those are my top two. How about you? How about you, Tanner?
Me? Well, I'm trying to save mine for the next couple of weeks. So
Give
we're going
him
to do
one or
top
two.
20. Okay, well,
I'll give him one or two.
So one of them's that's gonna make it. I'm really digging the new Mekong Delta. I just love technical music, and fucking Mekong Delta is probably one of the most underrated fucking metal bands ever. And I just really digging Tales from the Future's Past. So I don't know. That's definitely top 5 material for me. So
I got a couple more. Obviously we got to talk about the new Dark Tranquility record. That thing was fucking killer. The new Soilwork EP they put out, like it's so fun. Dude, the fact that they opened the EP with the 16-minute opus, I mean, I mean, those two bands I mentioned back to back have had such a consistent catalog, and I mean, you know, Bjorn Strid I think is like one of the greatest like metal frontmen.
I thought about playing that for a second, and then I realized, it's way too fucking long.
Let's see what else, and then definitely the new Ozzy record that came out this year is really cool, and then Insidious Disease is really cool too, with Silanos of Dimmu Borgir, Shane from Napalm Death.
I did not like the Ozzy record at all, so I'm gonna
really
that.
Well,
Way
I'll
too
give you something from the old guys. I like the new AC/DC record a lot.
Okay.
I do too. That is one I do like.
And then something that was recorded back in 1986, and then they re-recorded it and put it out this year is the new Mr. Bungle, the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. And that record is fucking insane.
Yes, very, very good. I was rocking out to that the other day. Sick.
I mean, basically, it's a demo that these guys have written on a 4-track, and it was influenced by Dave Lombardo, Scott Ian, as they said. So here we go, like 35 years later, and they decided to get Dave Lombardo and Scott Ian to play on it, and it's probably my thrash album of the year, along with the new Heathen.
Yeah.
You know, I found myself this year, I don't know about you guys, but all the shit I've been going through, I used to have Apple Music. I'm not like you guys. I know you guys collect, you guys do all that. I fell into I have no place to play vinyl. I have no place to play CDs. It's been nice to have this thing, to have everything I want, right? So I got rid of Apple Music.
I got my record player behind me.
Yeah, you guys do all that shit. I'm trying to get down with the new school, right? So I finally gave up on paying the extra money because I switched my phone plan or whatever. So I started using Spotify, like the free version. So I can't choose what I'm listening to. So I'll just like pick a band that I like, and I'll say, Siri, play so and so, and then I'll just fucking let it play, and I start discovering new bands that I had never even heard of before. I was like trying to play the shit out of our album, and I was starting to hear all these other bands that are in the same genre as us or whatnot, and it's just been really cool, just kind of like not overthinking it and just kind of being randomly exposed to new shit. It's kind of some kind of freeing about that. So
I was texting you about it. You got to check out that latest record from Bleed From Within that came this year, and the new Silosis. Holy fuck, dude! Riffs for fucking days.
So,
I think that's why people like radio still, though. They like to be, people like to be fed, new stuff that they never heard of, except if you're playing the top 40, which they've been playing for 40 fucking years. So, but hey, so speaking,
that's why we change tracks every week on Ranger Radio.
But every week. We've been talking about this new record. Where can people find it? And when is the vinyl actually coming out and being shipped out to us customers?
Well,
yes. Thank you for purchasing.
Well, here at Throwing Exile Incorporated, we have had a couple issues with the manufacturing of this vinyl. This is not a paid advertisement. So I can tell you, unfortunately, we found out that something happened with the vinyl. And obviously, we're sorry, first and foremost. And then I found out when we were getting these fucking things, when I was browsing around Amazon, and it said, oh, we'll be here the first week of January. I'm like, okay, cool. I know where I'm getting my record. So we're looking at first week of January. If they're here sooner, obviously, we're going to start packing them and shipping them.
Okay.
But it is available on throwingexile.com on the band website. We do manually ship these things ourselves and pack them. It is also available on Amazon FYE, which is really cool. That was distributed to there, and I actually found a couple copies for sale or pre-order on eBay now as well. Aside from all the streaming platforms, obviously, like Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music itself is available there, and iTunes Music as well. So it's available wherever you need, where for your convenience is there. Right. And then after enough demand, we also have a physical copy of the CD, which is funny because we were first not going to do it, and we kept getting requests about it, and sure enough, so we made the CD.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
There's still a ton of people use CDs.
Well, no, it's crazy.
I love them.
It's yeah. I mean, I can see that right behind you. It's funny because we were thinking about it, like like do because sometimes CDs are hit or miss. It's like do we really want to fucking sit on the garage full of CDs? And so we made a limited run, and thankfully they're selling pretty well.
Now, what gets me is how kids are still fucking
I know, right?
I have them both. I have a Dross new one right here on cassette, and their previous one, but cassettes are still popular nowadays, and that blows my fucking mind.
You're in the car, you get a piece of broccoli stuck in your teeth, you'll wind it, problem solved.
See, I don't get it either, and I've made them, so I'm like, whatever sells, so to speak. So.
I like cassette. I mean, cassettes definitely.
Shit.
I like cassette. Cassette's a niche market. I mean, I grew up with the cassette, but then again, that was like my parents like.
Yeah, I got my age. What you're saying?
I want to say manipulating me, but I remember going to Warehouse Music before it was shut down, and then
I used to work there.
Oh, there you go. So
my first job.
I remember I'm like, I want the CD, and then obviously back then, everyone was able to get away with selling a CD for $17.99 on release week. That is
big long box
on fucking release week.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'm like, oh, I want this, and then my mom was like, well, why don't you just get the cassette? We can get you 2 albums for the price of one. And my dumb ass like, okay, fuck it. A couple months later, here I am with the fucking pencil. Like, shit, this is something happening.
My first cassette tape was Michael Jackson Thriller. And you remember back in the day when you could record off the radio, you'd put the tape over the top and you stick it in and you record it. Yeah, and I recorded some other bullshit over there. I still have that. But that's great that they're still doing it.
You ruin your day when you fucking over-record it on your mixtape, on your mix cassette, and then you're bummed out because you missed it.
I was such a tape trader back in the 80s that I would come running home from high school to see what from all over the world, I would get cassette tapes. And like you said, the pencil thing and all that, I hate cassettes because I lived with them for 11 years. I mean, that's all we did. All the demos and stuff and sending all that stuff. It's like, they're always fucking up.
I never forget when I was in college having to buy those adapters for your cassette player. When you put the cassette and it has the aux cable in order to connect.
They can play
Good times there.
Now lastly, absolutely. Well, lastly, I want to ask you guys this. Bandcamp. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Bandcamp. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have a Bandcamp as well. Can you give us any of that information? Where they can actually. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Throne Exile. Just look us up as Throne Exile on Bandcamp. Mm-hmm. Actually, as an upsell, we do have the album there for $6.66 as opposed to other online retailers. So you do save some money.
And that movie goes straight to you too. The money goes straight to you guys.
Mm-hmm. It goes straight to recoupment.
What is money? Is there money involved in making music? I didn't know that.
There can. We just have. There can be, but we're still.
I'm just doing it for the free drinks, baby.
That's for
sure. No, Joey's doing it for the free drink tickets, everyone. Free drink tickets. Actually,
seriously.
That's actually a funny story because every time we're playing a show, the other guys are like, "Can we get more guest list spot? Can we get this more guest list spot?" I mean, while Joey's on the side, like, "Hey, do you got any drink tickets, man?"
Nobody else in the band drinks, and how am I supposed to put up with this motherfucker? Wait, this motherfucker over here. Without a couple of extra free drink tickets, man.
I make things exciting, all right?
That's right.
He does. There's nothing but love.
I make things exciting. One comedic. I don't know. I make a bunch of stupid shit in the shows, but it's fine.
Wait, were you about to talk about a tour that we did together in Tanner?
Yeah,
please.
I remember. I toured with you, and I remember giving you all my drink tickets because I don't drink on tour. I remember that, so I can vouch for you.
Senator Poppin. I've gotten my life together since then. I work in real estate now. So.
He's like, I got my life together. I bring my own drink tickets. All right.
Hey, there you go.
Well, on that note, gentlemen, thank you very much, seriously, for coming on, talking shop. We really greatly appreciate both of you guys' time, and killer new record. So I suggest everybody go fucking pick up a
Joy
copy.
to my heart.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. Thanks for listening, and love you guys. It's so good to see you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys in person, man. In a sweaty, crowded room somewhere, and not that kind of thing. Not that kind of way.
Everything he said, and obviously, I mean, dude, thank you again for having us again. Thank you for always being very supportive of this band within the Los Angeles scene. So we're very gracious and thankful for that, and thank you for being patient with us because we did take a minute to release this fucking record, and we evaluate.
It was worth it.
We're working on the next one as we speak, so hopefully it won't be as long this time.
All right.
I'll be 7 years. 7 years.
Lucky number 7.
Now,
All
Joey,
right.
no fleeing semen, Joey. Remember that.
Oh, yes. I got my shit together these days, Tanner. I promise. Cross my heart.
On the radio with Hedonist, which I think is one of the most tracks.
One of my favorites, man. That's the secret one I was telling you about earlier, by the way.
Okay. And stick around if you're on Razor Radio. We're going to play one of the young kids, up-and-comers, Violent Legacy with their Fatal Society right after that. So, gentlemen, thank you. This is the Hedonist from Thrown into Exile right now on
Razor Radio.
Yeah.